Hello and welcome to another show. And if I don't stop hitting the desk, the camera would not jump like that. So, how are y'all doing? I see the chat room. I see people here. Pat and Marla and Orange Cone Vlog. How you doing? Mary, Disney Fan 65. So, I'm not going to let Kimberly wait. We're just going to bring her right on in. I don't do a whole housekeeping segment. I probably should just to keep you up to date. But I'll do that with Kimberly here if there's anything we're supposed to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen her here, you might have seen her on this show before or on other podcasts. She makes her rounds sometimes. Wonderful author of the Positively Disney series of books, Kimberley Bouchard. Hello, Kimberly.
Hey, John, how are you doing?
Good, dear. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's good to see you again.
You too. The main reason that we have you back is because you've mentioned on the last show you were coming out with a cookbook. It is now a physical, beautiful thing. I love it. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about your original books first. Positively Disney. If somebody said, "I don't," what are you talking about? What do you write? What is that? What would you say to that nasty person?
You know what? Well, first of all, they're heartwarming stories. Really, they will touch your heart. And they're stories from the actors, the animators, artists, guests, cast members from all over the world about how Disney has impacted their lives. And then the fifth one, the last one was a Star Wars edition. So it's really a feel-good book, easy to read. And it's kind of like Chicken Soup for the Soul, but amped up because
Right.
it's Disney and Star Wars, of course. So
Right. The easy to read thing is so true. You don't have to pick it up and commit a very long time to it.
No.
Mary, thank you for noticing I'm losing weight. Mary says something's wrong with the screen. You're shrinking. I really have. I've been exercising and trying. Thank you. Maybe not with this cookbook now, but back to Kimberly. Yeah, it's nice that you can go in, read a story, put it down, come back to it, and start another story. And that's what's. It is a nice non long-term committal for that moment that you have the book.
Right. We're all so busy in our lives, and it's just easy to pick it up and read a story in that. And the second edition of the Star Wars book is going to be out in time for celebration this year, and book 6 will be out as well at one point later this year. So.
Okay, so you're not considering this a number in your series of books. The cookbooks are going to have their separate numbers?
They're standalones, yes.
Okay.
And I say standalones, plural, because there's going to be another one next year. Yay!
Yeah, Mary and Marla, I don't know if you have this, but if you don't, I know you're going to get it. What I did, okay, everybody always gives me links, but nobody gives me like really nice vanity links where you can just type it in. So I took, which I have Panda Hugs, Hugz. If you type in Panda Hugs, I just forwarded it to the collector's edition right now of this book. I will mention this again as we go. But the difference between the collector's book and the regular version, I'm going to let Kimberly spell it out, but I'm going to tell you why I think the $5 extra for the collector's book is worth it.
Sure. Well, the collector's edition is what I said, a collector, because there's only limited in printing. It's coated inside, so the pages are nice and smooth. The outside of it is all the lettering and that is embossed, it's raised, and it's foil stamped, and I really love it. I really do. And then the regular edition is a very nice glossy cover. The pages inside are not coated, so the limited edition goes for $34.95. The regular goes for $29.95. And the different shows that I've been going to conventions, everybody buys the limited edition. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out, but oh well.
Well, I was thinking that as I'm reading through it, there are some of these recipes are really nice and simple. Like I looked up banana bread, which I actually I thought it was a typo, and I thought I'm going to call Dan and tell him you're not spelling banana correctly, and I'm going to get brownie points. It's Dan Cockrell's banana bread, so it's banana bread.
Yes.
But it's a nice, simple recipe. But I'm also thinking that if I'm cooking and maybe I'm flipping through the pages and I do have my fingers in something, not that I would flip it dirty, but I would want the coated pages. So I think, Marla, get the book for real. It's good. You're gonna. Marla Chan is one of my best friends. She does a lot of cooking and stuff, and I know that if she starts getting this book, she's gonna make it Facebook post everything she makes from it. So
yeah. Well, that's why I have an Instagram, Positively Disney Cookbook, so that people, when they make their dishes, their creations, they can share it with everyone. Yeah.
What is the Instagram?
It's positively Disney.cookbook.
Perfect. Okay, what I haven't mentioned. Hey, Susan Hendricks, how are you? Yeah, oh, she got the book at the expo. Great. What
Oh,
people who don't have the book know, it's not just Kimberly giving recipes. These are people in the Disney verse, I guess you could say. Most celebrities, some are lesser known celebrities that if you are a Disney fan, you would go, "Oh, okay, I know them," but they may not be what the rest of the world considers a celebrity. Like Dan Cockrell, if you don't know Disney, you may not know who he is, but we all know who he is. So these are people that gave that I guess she contacted somehow. We're going to find out some of these stories that gave a recipe. And what's really nice is there's a little foreword from them for each of the recipes. So you figure out, like Mark Silverman, he's talking about that he would sit in front of the TV and he'd watch, Twilight Zone, not knowing that he's going to do the voice of Rod Serling one day. And he always wanted like little finger foods that he could eat in front of the TV. So he has sweet and sour meatballs because he likes that you could just put a toothpick in the meatball and eat it. That's a recipe. That might be the first one that I do. And I'll probably message Mark Silverman and make some joke just because I like to bust him on him.
he's funny.
He's such a good guy. He really
Yeah,
is. And he is
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah. So Brandon, if you don't have this book, you got to get it. And I'm not making I swear, they're full disclosure. I'm not making any commission. I just love Kimberly and I love her books. Mary just said, okay, ordered. Perfect.
Oh,
Linda Raymond, you need the book. Linda will get the book too. I know it. Anyway, so there was a couple. Let me see. What other questions did I have here for you? Personal recipes from Disney celebrities. But if I'm going to give you a name, and I want you to just tell me how it came about that you contacted them and what, if you remember, because I don't have it written down, what their recipe was. I think, like I have here, Robbie Benson.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Robbie's salmon and vegetables, and he loves his food spicy. Unlike the Carrie Fisher and her family, they do not like anything spicy. That was such a surprise. They are mild all the way. Yet they grew up in Tex-Mex. So yeah, Robbie Benson, very, very, very. I've not actually met him personally. That's coming, but no, he did a fantastic recipe, and I have to tell you that apart from this, like there's 12 sections. John, and apart from the dessert section, the tarts and cakes and cookie section, stuff like that, people are eating healthy. At least the recipes they were giving me, they ate healthy. But yeah, Robbie's he was very kind to give me.
Do we remember what I can look? I just don't know. Do you remember what Robbie's recipe was?
Yeah, the salmon and vegetables.
Oh, salmon and vegetables. You said it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah. That does sound really healthy. No, I haven't.
That's what I thought.
That does sound pretty healthy. Mark Silverman, sweet and sour meatballs. I don't know.
I don't know. That grape jelly stuff in there. Like, so he got in trouble with the janitor at his school because he would always take this to school with him. Like he loved these so much. And he decided to dump out the glaze, like all the stuff in the sink, clogged the sink totally. And yeah, so there was a little bit of a dialogue between him and the janitor. But I actually have a little funny story, a food story about, so Mark and I go back a few years now. And I don't know about you, but I love fruitcake. I love the fruitcakes that, around Christmas time. Not everybody likes them. Yeah, you don't.
I don't think I've tasted one because all I do is watch, all the shows that make fun of them. So I don't think I ever went near one.
Really? Well, my grandmother makes a really good one. So every year I send a little fruitcake to Mark. And he always has it with his cup of Maxwell House coffee. I didn't even know they made Maxwell House coffee still. But yeah, that's
he is thing. So nostalgic.
Oh, he's so funny. Yeah.
He's caught in like the 1920s, even though I don't think he wasn't even born in the 60s.
Yeah. We had coffee last year together when I was in LA, and like his wit that you see on Facebook, it's like multiply that in like real face to face. But anyways, so that was just a little side story of like I give him my grandma's fruitcake every Christmas.
Okay, now how did Wally? I'm going to say his name wrong, but I do know who he is from
Wally
the
Bogue?
Diamond. Raleigh, is it Bogue? I want to say Boag. From the Diamond Horseshoe Jamboree. Now, the only reason why I know who Wally is from Ron Schneider's book talking about watching him as a child and wanting his job.
Oh,
Ron Schneider, the original Dreamfinder.
Yeah.
He might also have a recipe for.
Remind me that.
I will.
Yeah.
But what did Wally? What was the recipe? And you had to get in touch with his family, I'm assuming, to get this.
Lawrence, his son, actually
Okay.
gave me the recipe. So yeah, so they had oh darn it. You know what? I used to do all the recipes off by heart. Ugh.
Oh, hold on.
You can look it up. But you
I
know
don't
what?
expect you to remember all
So
this.
really fun. Well, I did at one time, but it's kind of my memory's faded a little bit because I've got all these other
Oh,
things
easy
coming.
French ratatouille, which doesn't sound
Oh,
easy.
yeah. So, there's a story about that. So he married his wife really liked to cook these let's just say the signature dishes that was very few things on a plate. So he and Lawrence, before they would go home, they'd stop at a burger place and eat a meal before they went home to dinner, because his mom and Wally's wife was so particular. Like, as I said, she made these gourmet dinners, but just with the little teeny tiny portions. So that they didn't go away hungry. They ate a burger meal and then came home for dinner so that she could cook the dinner. And she was all happy because she thought she was feeding her boys, which she was. But
That reminds me of a big comedian, John Panette, and he would go through all kinds of different countries' foods, and he would say in Italy that they fed him too much, but he would say
oh,
Indian food, oh, bring a snack, because he just said there were very little portions
uh,
wherever
yeah.
he went. But that's funny.
Yeah.
Uh, so Dan Cockrell, Banana Bread. I don't even
Mhm.
know. I didn't look what Lee did. Warwick Davis.
Yes, that was an
Okay.
interesting one. So Warwick, he gave me everything. Let's just say it was very British, very English, and I had to dissect the recipe because it had called for tube tomatoes. I'm thinking that
Oh,
has
tube
tomato
tomatoes.
paste, yeah. So I'm kind of like reconfiguring everything so it's in North American terms. Sent it back to him to see if it was okay, and he said yes, it was. So I'm really glad, because I can't. I wanted the recipes had to make sense to me. I'm not a chef, I follow a recipe and hope for the best. So I want to make sure that it's easy to follow, and the ingredients that are in there that we can find. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
did a recipe once that not in your book, but it asks for cardamom pods.
oh
Do you know how
oh
hard it is to find cardamom pods?
oh
It's not
pods. Oh, I
pods. Yeah,
know.
it's not
Oh,
easy.
oh,
The spice itself, I could have got. I guess I think that's what I wound
right,
up using was powdered, but I
right,
don't know. It was
sure.
very difficult. Anyhow,
Oh,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Do we
mhm.
remember what his recipe was, Warwick?
Yeah, it was a pasta recipe.
Oh, I like the
Mhm.
way you say pasta. Pasta.
Oh, yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay.
You know what? That's so funny because that's one of the things that, like, Canadians say pasta and Americans say pasta. Just
Pasta.
like,
Well,
yeah, just
macaroni.
yeah,
Macaroni. Everything's macaroni.
well, and the letter, like we say Z, not Z. I still haven't
Uh,
gotten into that. I've been here almost 11 years. I still can't say Z.
do you
To
say
me, it's kind of, what do I say?
aluminium?
Oh, good Lord, aluminum.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I don't think that's a Canadian or American thing. That's just a whatever you say it
I thought that
thing.
was English. No? Okay. Could be.
Oh, well, I don't know. We're both English, but but there is one word I will tell you that drives me crazy, and it drove me crazy so much when people said it, because it's a common word, that I even looked it up in the dictionary to see who was right, and they actually had a Canadian version and an American version. So we call it a decal. When you put a decal on your car, like a sticker, and you guys say
Oh,
decal,
no. It's
which drives me nuts.
okay. If you said decal, I wouldn't even know what
I
you were saying.
know, I know.
To me,
And
it's a
you
decal.
I know, and the dictionary recognizes that there's two pronunciations. Anyways, we're sidetracking, but it's like, oh,
No, no, no.
I
That's
didn't know
okay.
that.
Mary is asking this. I don't want to say it. I want you to say it.
Oh, against?
That's fine. Yeah, that's
I
what I
say
say.
sorry. Oh, like, I know.
Do you agree with making
Oh,
bagels with yogurt and
yogurt and
self-rising?
self-rising flour. I've never made bagels
Me
before, so
either.
I'm not
But
too
I'm coming to
sure.
Brandon's house to get
Uh,
bagels.
Sounds like an idea. I mean, hey, why not?
We can't. We have good bagels where I came from originally, New York,
Oh,
New
yeah, of
York.
course.
But now in
Yeah.
Florida, we can't get good bagels.
You got to make them yourself, John.
I don't know. That's a difficult. That's like making
It
fresh pasta.
it's
It's very
hard.
difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I do make
I
fresh pasta sometimes,
do
or fresh
you.
pasta. I'm in America, I should say pasta, shouldn't I?
Well, are you in Canada right now?
No,
Oh.
No.
but you're from Canada.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
Canadian all the way. Yeah.
do you do the A? You go A?
Oh God. I go hey a lot. Like,
All
hey.
right.
I don't know why. I've cut down, since I've been here. But yeah,
So
you
what
might.
I speak going back to the forewords of the people, I like that Dan spoke about when he was I want to say the president of he was the president for the Walt Disney World
VP.
Resort, the VP,
VP.
vice
He
president.
was VP of Epcot, VP of Hollywood Studios, and VP of Magic Kingdom was the last time that he was a VP. But he started out as a parking attendant in Epcot. So, guys, when you pass those parking attendants, be nice. Well, be nice to everybody. But, it's really interesting because everybody starts out somewhere, right? And
Yeah,
he
I
just
like
kept
that
moving through the company.
I do like that they took him from within and he knew so much of the company because
Oh,
he
yeah.
started like that. Yeah. But he
Hmm.
used to make these banana breads sometimes. He made it sound like every couple of mornings, and he would bring them into work and hand them
Yes.
out to some of
Yes.
the cast members, and that would brighten up their day because this
Yeah.
banana bread, hold on, let's just go to this recipe. Just because I want to show you how simple and approachable some of these are. Is it okay
Yeah.
if I read this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it says, he says, when I worked at the Magic Kingdom, I would get up early in the morning and bake banana bread, 2 or 3 loaves. I would take
Hmm.
the bread to work and give it to random cast members as a magical moment. If I wanted my team to create magic, I had to model it. Eventually, it became known as banana bread, not banana
Yes.
bread.
Isn't that
This is
sweet?
yeah, really sweet, and I thought it was a typo at first. Just from the table of contents, I was like,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
this is a simple recipe and a simple concept. Do something every day to bring some happiness to others. Karma says you will get paid back tenfold.
Mm.
The ingredients are 4 bananas, 3/4 stick of butter, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons melted, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1.5 cups of flour, excuse me, 3/4 cup of sugar, and walnuts optional. And he goes through these. This is the whole simple thing to bake it and make it. That's it on this page. It's really, it's a very approachable, easy, nice, quick bread recipe. I like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And let's see what I'm just looking at the comments. Mary is saying that is cool. Brandon is saying pasta is a wild thing. He made his own with a KitchenAid. It took all day. Yeah, I heard to get the mixture for fresh pasta, it has to be you really have to get it to make fresh pasta. So I've never tried it myself. I would
Oh.
love to make fresh raviolis though.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I heard you can the flour and water and egg or whatever has to be so exact.
But you know what? I think the ravioli would take a long time to do, but I have a little pasta, like a hand crank. Some people have like they're attached to their KitchenAids, but I just have a hand crank. But you'll know when the pasta is okay. Like you just run it through flat several times and get that going, and then you just do it, and when it's going to be too dry or it's going to be too wet
Hmm.
because it won't go through your pasta maker. So I don't know.
All
It's not
right.
too bad. I don't know.
I've never tried because I was heard nightmares from people, but I will try it.
Oh,
What I don't like is this new no bake pasta that's been out for like
what?
5 years now. Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's to me that's like
mm,
sacrilege. You're not boiling the pot. You're just
yeah.
baking it hard. And I get that
Well,
it cooks a little, but the texture is never right.
no. Well, I think isn't that mainly for lasagnas? Maybe I don't know.
Mainly for lasagna, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not
I mean, I
that
make sure my
difficult.
lasagna is firm because it is
Yeah,
going to cook in the oven, but I
sure.
can't see it not going in dry would just be weird.
Yeah, I know.
Anthony Daniels, did you speak to him for the book?
I have to tell you, there's a big story about
Please,
this.
I want the story for
Oh
this.
my God. So Anthony
Anthony Daniels, for
Daniels.
those who don't know,
Oh,
is
yeah.
C3PO.
Okay. Our droid, C3PO. So I'll tell you, when he gave me the recipe, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, that's why he maintained that physique for all these years to be C3PO. So he gave a harissa and sesame eggplant. So I have not looked at an eggplant or tasted an eggplant in over 40 years because my mom made it for us and it tasted like crap. And even today, my mom has never had it, but I'm going to tell you something. And this is the first time I can admit it on any show. That's my favorite recipe. I can't stand it. It's like I'm so obsessed with eggplant and I don't even share. I eat the whole eggplant. No, even getting off the plane last Monday from California. I made an eggplant. I made that recipe and I had that for my breakfast and lunch. Like, it's amazing. And anybody that doesn't like eggplant or doesn't think they like eggplant, you got to try this. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. So that is my official favorite recipe. I used to say that any recipe that turned out is my favorite, which, I mean, it still kind of holds true. But this one, oh my gosh, I just had some for like supper / lunch, the whole eggplant. Oh, it's really
So
good.
what harissa is a sauce?
Harissa is it's a chili paste. It's a chili paste, and very darn good. And it's basically got a sesame seed sauce that you mix with water and lemon juice, and then you put sesame seed, roasted sesame seeds on. If you want to put gosh, I always think coriander now. That's the UK version. It's cilantro here.
Did you
And
also have to switch the recipe from the UK version to American?
well, he kind of said what it was to him. Like, he calls the eggplant aubergines as well, aubergines.
I've seen that. I didn't even
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that
yeah,
was an eggplant.
yeah. I know, right? So I didn't change up. So one of the things, John, is when I got these recipes in, I really had to sort of standardize them in a sense that I wanted them to follow certain, be continuous through the cookbook. I didn't want any crazy variations of things so people would have to try to figure it all out. So I wanted to make it easy, but I wanted to keep the voice of the author of the recipe. So there's some really cute little anecdotes that they'll put in the recipe along with the story. So I really wanted to keep that focus. Oh yeah, kind of sweet, smoky, a little spicy. Well, I don't know. It's really, really good. And oh, there you go. Yeah, it's a flavor boost. Well, I'll tell you, this eggplant and that recipe, it's very simple to do. It's involved roasting. Like, honestly, I I have never been a massive, massive vegetable lover. I don't know why. Just never. I'll tell you, I could go full on vegetarian because of the recipes in my cookbook. And there's one,
I believe it.
yeah. And it's like the green bean, ginger garlic green beans of our voice of Belle, Paige O'Hara.
That's what I
Unbelievable.
was going to ask you about her.
She convinced me. She said, Kim, she goes, little children will even like green beans after eating my recipe. I'm like, well, I don't know. But you know what? She's absolutely right. And she
Okay,
used to
wait.
do
Describe this recipe. It's green beans.
ginger garlic green beans sauteed.
Okay, ginger garlic sounds delicious.
It's
already.
amazing. But you know, the thing is, it's so funny. She said she used to make it for Thanksgiving and Christmas only, which is what I did. And now she makes it all the time. And I make it all the time too. I make it several times a month because it's so good. I have to tell you about another vegetable recipe because I just met up with
Please.
him. So John Morris, the voice of Andy in the Toy Stories franchise, he came up to my table last weekend, and we just had such a fun talk. And his roasted carrots has orange zest and squeezed orange juice, and salt
Mm.
and all. You would not think. I don't know. You wouldn't think they go together, but they're unbelievable. And tomorrow I've got a cauliflower, and I don't know why I'm on this vegetable kick, but I am. But I got this cauliflower, and it's called cauliflower garni, and it's from the Imagineer that created the Haunted Mansion wallpaper, Tanya Norris. Isn't that fun? Yeah, she
That's it. I
created.
think I've seen that in the book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
I saw cauliflower garnier. I didn't know who it was or put it together with
yeah,
the.
that's who did it. So I'm going to try a recipe. I'll call her and say, yeah, it's really good. Finally got a chance to eat it. But that's what I do. I make sure that if I'm meeting up with these people, I make sure that I have, tried their recipes so I can kind of give them feedback on it.
I think it's such a nice way to connect with a celebrity that has no idea who you are. You know them because you admire them, and here is a recipe personally from them. I mean, hey, I say go ahead, make the recipe, and then tweet your favorite celebrity that you made the recipe. You may get a response, you may not, but at least you try and see if they appreciate that you made something that was personal to them.
Well,
I love that,
yeah.
and you get the story from it too. It is this book is fantastic for that. It really is.
Well, something that I'm always about the story, and so I wanted to know the story behind the recipe because these recipes are passed down from generation to generation. Sometimes they have like special meaning to them, but and I'll tell you to that regard with Carrie Fisher's recipe, but a lot of these guys were on stage with me in Orlando, and they said to me it was so nice because they get interviewed about the same films. You know, everything is the same all the time. They said it was so nice to be able to talk about food, about these special recipes, something other than their films. And I never thought about that before, you know, before they joined me, but they really enjoy that, and telling about what you know, what these recipes meant. And one of the parts of the Caribbean guys was getting kind of emotional because the recipe that he had, arroz con pollo with tostones, Vince Lozano, his grandmother and mom would always make that dish whenever he came home. It was kind of like his homecoming dish. And even the girls, the voices of young Anna and Elsa, Livy Stubenbrock and Eva Bella, their recipes were passed down from their great grandmothers, and they hadn't even met the great grandmother, but you know, the grandmother and mother and so on, and they're really part of a tradition in their family. And it was really neat to talk to them about it. But if you want me to tell you about Carrie Fisher's recipe, that was really interesting.
I really do. I do want to back you up on what you're saying
Sure.
about
Okay. Sure.
the emotional thing. My
Yeah.
mom was healthy. She all of a sudden got pancreatic cancer, and I knew,
Oh,
I'm not going to get emotional about this, but I knew that I wanted certain recipes from her. And I
oh,
would say, Ma, I need you to write this down so I know how to do it. And there are times now where I make that specific recipe, and just the way smell brings you back to
yeah.
something like macaroni and peas, or a specific thing that she did completely, I will cry as I'm eating it because I feel
Oh,
like mom made it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Carrie Fisher. How did it, did you contact the family and say, hey, I'm making this book?
Well,
How did that
Todd,
happen?
her brother and I are friends, actually. Yeah. So it's funny because I got a couple recipes quickly from Debbie Reynolds, or from Todd for Debbie, and we were waiting from Carrie's cook actually, and it was kind of just hard to connect in that. So one Sunday morning, Todd said, "Give me a call." He said, "Are you ready to record this?" I'm like, "Okay, what's happening?" So he shared this story about the recipe. Carrie has a very specific, special guacamole recipe, and this guacamole recipe would be at any birthday party, any celebrity of celebration, any event, anything. That always was in her home. So all the A-listers that would go visit her would remember that particular guacamole recipe. And the funny thing about it, he went on to tell me that their grandmother taught them how to find the perfect avocado, and just about their time as children, you know, when they would have, Carrie and Todd would sit around grating cheese or grating whatever because they like Tex-Mex. So they'd have the pinto beans, they'd have the tacos, they'd have the guacamole and all that, but they never liked it spicy. Never. And I was so surprised because most people that I'm assuming most people that eat Tex-Mex kind of like it spicy, but not them. That was totally mild. But I'll tell you, so another guacamole recipe, Bill Farmer's, the voice of Goofy and Pluto. That's the first time I've ever made guacamole, and it has a kick to it, I'll tell you. But it's so good. And I've gotten to know Bill over the years, and it's so funny because doing the running on the attraction, the Runaway or Mickey and Minnie's Railway, with seeing Goofy driving the train, I can't help it, but I just hear Bill. I don't hear Goofy. And then when I talk to Bill, all I hear is Goofy. So I don't know.
You and I were both at the House of Mouse
Oh
Expo,
yeah,
ran by Michelle and Scott Atwood from the Main Street Mouse.
yeah.
Everybody that's, well, almost, I mean, a lot of people that are in the book were there. It seems like
Oh,
all
I
your
know.
friends were there. Bill Farmer, Margaret Kerry, is it Margaret
Yeah,
Kerry? Yeah.
yeah.
Doug Jones,
Mm.
which, oh yeah, let's go in. Margaret Kerry, what did she offer for the book? Aren't there two recipes from her in it?
No, she
Oh, okay,
doesn't
just
cook. See, she doesn't cook, but she had to learn one recipe in her lifetime, and I've got that recipe. The only
what
recipe that
was
she cooked.
it?
Well, it's called Tia Margaret's Pinwheels, and she created the recipe herself. But let me just say, it involves flank steak, and and the thing is, like, I was all happy. I told her, you know, this is what I made, and it tasted so good. And she looked at it. She goes, "Well, that doesn't really look like mine." I'm like, "How can I mess that recipe up?" She goes, "Oh no." She goes, "Dear, she cut her meat with scissors." She didn't cut it like with a knife. So I'm like, okay, well then you have these big thick pinwheels, and I have more like these pinwheels that you would eat like for cocktails or whatever. But Margaret is so fun. I have to ask you this question. I asked it when I was speaking a couple weekends ago, and it was so funny to hear the answer. So I drove Margaret from Orlando to Sarasota, which is an hour and 50-minute drive,
Yep, my
one
sister's
way.
in Sarasota. Good.
Okay, so you know that it's a bit of a drive. What do you think Margaret and I spoke about the whole time? Just take a guess, John. Take a
Well,
guess.
okay. Well, I would think it would be something about Tinkerbell, but if not, I would think it would be about the pinwheels because we're talking
No,
about the
you know
cookbook.
what we talked about?
Go ahead.
Sports cars. We talk cars the whole time. We love sports cars. Her favorite sport
Really?
car, yeah, it was a 1964 Ford Mustang. She bombed around LA with. And I've had different sports cars through my life. My last two-seater was my convertible Porsche. And we talk cars, new cars, old cars, and the best thing about sports cars for 2 hours. 2 hours. Yeah, we didn't talk to
I wouldn't have thought either. I wouldn't have pegged either of you for sports car enthusiasts.
We love sports cars.
Oh, that's why on Facebook, when you're driving, you took a picture of Jay Leno next to
Jay
you.
Leno's car. Well, we were like, oh my gosh, a split window in that Corvette. Beautiful car. So, we're passing, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Jay Leno. And then he ended up passing us, and that I had my camera ready to take a picture. I mean, you can't miss Jay, right?
It's all making sense and coming together now.
Yeah, I love driving, and for Mother's Day one year I got, when they had the Richard Petty racetrack outside there at Magic Kingdom. I was the only one so there's a group of us. You can do 11 laps or 3 laps or 33 laps. My family bought me the 33 lap one. Oh my gosh, that was like the first turn. I'm like, yeah, this is not a Disney ride anymore. So I went 120 miles an hour, 33. Yeah, they pulled me in halfway so I could get some water in that, because you're like in that helmet thing and neck thing, and like, yeah, it's pretty incredible. And they wanted me to go faster, but I just kind of didn't want to lose control as a mom.
I loved that thing, the Richard Petty driving experience.
I
What I didn't like,
know.
though, is
Oh,
if you were at the Polynesian relaxing, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
really?
you could hear it from there.
Oh, I
Yeah,
never thought about that.
just a little,
Oh.
yeah, and it was like,
Well, it's not there anymore, so.
I know. Doug Jones. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think, if you don't know who he is, you do, but you may not know. Like The Shape of Water, he's the creature.
Hmm.
Uh, in the Labyrinth, the Pan's Labyrinth, he's the monsters. He was Hocus Pocus. I went crazy when I found out that he was from one of my favorite comedy series now, What We Do in the Shadows. He's the Baron, which is this Nosferatu Dracula creature. So when I heard that, I freaked out and ran in and made sure I got his autograph. So
Ah.
does the chat room know who? Do we all know who Doug Jones is?
So
Let me
Doug,
know.
Doug Jones in Hocus Pocus was Billy Butcherson, sort of that kind of weird guy, dead guy or whatever, walking around. But
And he's
also,
reprising his role.
yes, he is, yes, and he also was the Silver Surfer in Marvel's
Yes.
Fantastic Four,
Yes.
which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, he's so nice. He's a Midwest boy, and the thing is, all these actors, I don't care where they live, but they're all like, well, first of all the people in my books are always nice people. And especially the cookbook, they're good people. They're good and nice people. And so he supplied Midwest tuna casserole, and it was so funny because he was like kind of not apologizing, but he kind of felt like it was a little bit not as fancy schmancy as others. But his tuna casserole has potato chips on. You can put saltine crackers or potato chips. But the funny thing about that is, I was on the phone as I was finishing off assembling everything with my 85-year-old neighbor. She goes, "What are you making?" She goes, "Well, what's the ingredient?" So I told her. She goes, "Well, that's my recipe." I said, she grew up in Montana, and I'm like, "No, that's Doug's recipe. No, that's those are my ingredients," and da 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 da. And so when I was telling him later, she claimed it was her recipe. I said, obviously that got around. The tuna casserole got around. And when I had told my mom that I was eating, she goes, "I can't believe you're eating tuna." And I'm like, well, I hadn't had it in years. It was just kind of not on my on my plate anywhere, but his was really good. And it was just salt of the earth. Like he said, it appears at all the buffets and the church gatherings or whatever. And so, but there's something for everybody in this book. That there are vegetarian recipes, which obviously from the side dishes, people could consider some of this stuff vegan. But I couldn't believe that there was actually 2 recipes made specifically for the cookbook. Isn't that cool? A
Very.
Mandalorian drink and Peter Mayhew's recipe. Angie and a chef made a very special cookie. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. I did. So
It
those
is.
are something that they did it specifically to get it into the book and make it
Yes.
unique.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's a weird question for you. I hope you didn't get this question. I'm hoping that it surprises you. Let's see.
Okay.
Was
Okay.
there anyone that you wanted in the book, but for some reason it wasn't a good recipe, or it didn't connect with you, or they didn't get back to you, or just something that it didn't get in the book for some reason?
Well, there were a couple people that had to pass because they were filming. So
Okay.
Harrison Ford was filming Indiana Jones, so he couldn't really.
Ooh.
Yeah, he couldn't get in.
We're gonna try for book 2.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And Tamura Morrison, I'd met up with him a few years ago when I was signing some books, and it was so funny because Tamura, of course, in Book of Boba Fett, and I
Wait,
remember
which character is that?
Tamura Morrison is the lead
Oh,
in the Book of
I
Boba
didn't
Fett.
know, and I'm watching it every episode. Just didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
that
he's from New
I
Zealand.
didn't know his name. Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, anyways, I was trying to, I don't know, talk to somebody. He was trying to take my cell phone case off because I had R2D2 on there. And I'm like, you can't have my cell phone case. Okay. He said, well, I'm going to sign it now. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I mean, I knew Tamura for being, in the Star Wars franchise and stuff, but you know what? I do disinfect my phone cases and phones and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now it's very faint now, his signature on the. So I was going to have him in there, but he was coming back from filming and he had a quarantine and it wasn't good timing. And I had some hard deadlines. But yeah, so there's a few people that I'm going to ask. Hopefully it's, enough time, because the cookbook really was put together very, very fast. Like very
It does
fast.
not it does not seem like it was put together fast.
Well, I mean, I worked 16-hour days on it.
I
Okay.
could imagine that.
Yeah.
It feels really polished, by the way, as a reader flipping through it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my standard. It has to be. But what I'm saying is I have more time now because the second one will come out sometime next year. So while I'm getting the other things going and doing what I have to do, I can be gathering the other recipes, and I've got a dozen already that for the next book. So yeah,
that's amazing. I can't wait. It's just weird that you had such a good series of books. You think you could never get lightning in a bottle twice, but then the cookbook and just the way the format. I love the little forward. I love the recipe, the little story, and then the story from you. It's great. Let's see. Do we have any questions that we can get from our chat room here? If you have questions, I know we're on a little bit of a delay. Ask me now before the end. We're not really at the end, but we could get close quickly before you know it. So just let me know.
Well, while you're waiting for a question, I was just wondering, what are you going to try first? Like, are you going to try
Mark Silverman's sweet and sour
meatballs? Okay,
meatballs.
so not a side dish, but an appetizer. Okay, that's
I love that they're also put together, right? Side dish, appetizers. Because I was like, Dan, I saw him in the beginning, but I'm like, why is his at the end? And I realized breads were at the end.
Yeah,
so
and alphabetized. So I did 2 different contents, because a regular content and then the content with the celebrities' names. Oh, tell us some of the meat recipes in the book.
The meatball from Mark Silverman is one of them, but if you have another one.
Yeah, so Mississippi Roast, that is by Martin Kleba. He's been in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. A very, very famous actor. I'm trying to think of some other meat. Well, fish isn't kind of a meat, but Robbie Benson's salmon. Oh gosh, there's a seafood. Oh, the eggplant will be the first for me. Oh, that's funny. Gosh. So I'm just trying to think.
Baked potato soup is Craig Skaggs. See, I'll do that too.
Yeah.
Because I love Craig.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to think of if there, trust me, I probably knew how to make these recipes off by heart by the time things came out last October, November. But it's memory is fading a little bit here.
Pork dumplings.
Oh yeah, pork
John
dumplings. John
Ramirez.
Ramirez. Yeah, he just won most of the Rose Parade floats. He's in was in Disney Animation Television. There's a lot of meat in the different foods. So you might have well, okay, so the arroz con pollo with tostones, which is a beautiful dish using chicken thighs. I hadn't used chicken thighs in like years. I usually normally use chicken breast, but oh my gosh, the adobo seasonings, don't buy the seasoning that says adobo. Buy the individual seasonings and mix them up to make your own adobo because it's so amazing. It's so amazing. So that's another kind of main meat dish with rice, basmati rice. There's a little Oh, go ahead.
I have to stop you because I didn't even realize this when I looked. Debbie Reynolds enchiladas.
Yeah.
Okay, where else can you go and make enchiladas and say these are Debbie Reynolds enchiladas?
You know,
how did that come about?
I know. Well, you know what? So I got Annette Funicello's, Debbie Reynolds. I got a lot of these folks that I'd heard about. When I was a little girl, and that Cubby O'Brien, one of the original Mouseketeers, and Sharon and Sherry, and that. And I just asked, I said, hey, Todd, would your mom have something special that you guys used to make or eat? But, again, everybody's been very happy to give me a recipe and the little story behind it. But you know what was so neat is so at Thanksgiving, I made the garlic green beans and the orange carrots. And I had guests at my table and I said, by the way, this is so-and-so's recipe, and told them the story behind it, and then the orange carrots and so on. So it's really fun when you have people over to say, hey, by the way, this is so-and-so's dish, and this is the story behind it. I have never been able to experience that ever except from my cookbook.
You could cook your family a Star Wars celebrity meal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Susan says, I don't think you don't have two out, do you? Susan says, love both of your cookbooks.
Oh, well, those are the regular one is just as beautiful, as this limited edition one, but the limited edition has a little extra pixie dust on it. Yeah.
I like this one, that it does feel nice on my hands too.
And they're weighty. They're so heavy.
You were carrying boxes of them.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Pallets drop shipped to Florida. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot.
Pizza by Raleigh Crump.
So so Raleigh is a former Imagineer. He's about 91 years old. He illustrated 2 recipes for me. So fun. One of his recipes.
Oh, those are his illustrations?
Yes.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. So, and there are 3 adult beverages in the beverage section. Not all of them are adult beverages, but there are 3. And so, so you've got this animator's actual recipe animated. There's another recipe, Kevin John, he's a Lucas Disney film artist, and he hand wrote his recipe and did a little doodle and stuff like that. But something unique about his recipe, and the only one of its kind. Oh, you're going to show it? Yeah. Is that fun?
Well, you know what? I remember Raleigh would make when he was doing the Haunted Mansion back in the day, it was going to be the Museum of the Weird. And some of his drawings, which look a little bit like that pizza, were really like odd things. Some of them made it, obviously, into the Haunted Mansion, but I love that.
Yeah. But there's one recipe that is very unique to everything, which was Kevin John's. And there's no measurements. And I called Kevin. I said, what the heck is going on? I said, how come you don't have any measurements? He goes, because people have to be creative. I'm like, okay. So if there's no mistake there, but people have to be creative. So the ingredients that you like the best, put a little bit more in, and so on and so forth. So anyways, I haven't done that one yet.
Mary, I'm going to say there's not many. There's a little bit of illustrations, but there's no photos. A lot of these are passed down. People weren't taking pictures when they made them because they're just family recipes that they didn't think would end up in a book.
Yeah. And so the only sort of photos that I have in there are I have the actual notes from Walt Disney to his housekeeper of the foods that he liked to eat. So they're handwritten, they look like they're pasted in there. And also the actual recipe from the original Donald Duck, Clarence Nash. He hand wrote it, and he
Wow.
put his stamp. He carried his Donald Duck stamp around with him, and he would stamp things. And it shows in his handwriting my favorite recipe, and he wrote out the recipe. So those are the photos, because I at one time thought, oh, I'm going to make 40 some recipes and put them on at least on the 12 pages for the sections. And I hired a food photographer. You needed a food stylist, all that. But you know what? It's like people are not buying this for the food. They are buying it for the, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to wait for the cookie for the, whoever that is, if I can make it, you can make it too. I'm not a chef. I'm not a chef at all.
Briggs is a
And
comedian. He's probably going to buy the book.
oh, well, I'm just letting you know, because I'm not a chef. And you know what, John, do your things turn out like the cookbook pictures? I don't
Not
know.
usually.
No, me
No.
neither. So I'm like, why would I ever try to do that?
I'm better when I don't follow a recipe and just do my own thing.
Oh, I can't do that. I have to follow a recipe. I can't. I
All right.
can't create.
I'm pretty good with eyeball and most things, but these don't seem hard. A lot of these are very
No,
approachable.
they
Very
are
approachable.
they have to be. They have to, or else, like that to me, I don't know. And you can see it too. The it's not micro letters, because I hate that. You're
No, I
cooking, and if
agree. My eyes
you're
are
funny.
going, but I can read this pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, they're easy to do. They're set out in a very easy
I
way
will
to
say the
read.
shape of your books. I don't know if that's a conscious thing that you thought. They're not tiny. They have a nice opening layout that is good for that. And there's more pictures there.
Yeah. So, and I will tell you, so little thing about the family that supports me, my own family. So my son did the cover, and he did all the interior illustrations. Yeah, he's an animator and an artist. He's just finishing school this year. So he knew what I needed and what I wanted. My daughter did the author photo in the back. My other son was my tech guy, and my husband was the chief cook and bottle washer, because I would spend 16-hour days, and he would be like cutting up my dinner, my lunch, whatever, making sure I had something to drink, and yeah, just bringing it in, dropping it by my desk, and going out again. So on the copyright page, you'll see my family's contribution to help get this a success. Yeah.
This is
And
awesome.
and then the charity part was really, really
Oh,
important.
that's it does say on the back of this, and I know 50% of proceeds go to the charity Feeding America to help
Yes.
feed American families in their own
Yeah.
backyards.
Hmm.
Tell me more about how you came to that.
Yeah, I'm officially working with them, actually. They really love the concept. They love the cookbook. And I just, any books, anything that I do, I want it to be helping. And there's been a lot of people struggling, heartbreakingly so. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do a cookbook, then it's going to have to help people. So Feeding America is the second on Forbes top 100 charities. And I was really careful, because 99% of money goes to that charity specific, not to administration and that. So, yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
if you
I,
needed an excuse to get the book, 50% of it is going to the proceeds are going to Feeding America. That's a big
yeah,
deal. That's
yeah,
very nice, Kimberly.
yeah. It is a big deal. You know what I have to tell you? So I don't know. I'm back and forth to Florida all the time, but I think it was like maybe in December. I don't know. Maybe it was January, but I was driving just on the 27 and the 192, and there was a massive lit up billboard that said Feeding America, and it said 1 in 6 children are hungry in America. And I just started crying, because I thought, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, that, and it was just like such a profound statement, and it just really touched me. And I happened to be at that section when that billboard was up. It was quite amazing, and I was very happy to be able to do something.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in a family where you never went to bed hungry. Could you
Yeah.
imagine the feeling of actually
No. No,
being
and
hungry.
no, and as a mom, I couldn't imagine, not knowing where my meal was coming from for my children. That would
Yes.
just be heartbreaking. So, I'm so beyond grateful. My goal is to raise $500,000. I don't know how long it will take me to do that, but that's equivalent to 5 million meals. 5 million. And you know what? And it's going to happen because of all the people in the Disney and Star Wars communities. They're just always amazing. Is there a way to make a donation to them? Yes, I believe so.
I'm assuming you could Google Feeding America and come up with their site.
Right. Yeah. But no, I'm just really happy that I can work with them and do something like that.
Well, I'm going to have you back if you come back for your next book, which you say is next year. Hopefully, I'll see you before then. But you think it'll be 2023 before we see another
Yeah,
book?
2023 will be the cookbook, but the Star Wars second edition of the Star Wars book, which is going to be a new ISBN, new everything. Well, not new everything, but there's going to be about at least half a dozen more stories put into it. That
Wow.
has to be out in time for celebration in May. And then book
Wait,
six
wait.
of the
May of this year or May of
Yes.
2024?
No, May this year. And then
Okay.
the other Positively Disney book, 6, I have started writing. I'm 25%, 30% finished that. But what happened is, so I was going to have that come out at Christmas, but I reversed it and had the cookbook come out in time for Christmas instead. So yeah, so book 6 will be out hopefully. Well, my goal is in time for D23. That's my goal. Yeah.
Okay. And then 2023 cookbook, and then after
Yeah.
that we'll get another Positively Disney
I have
after
no
that.
idea. I don't know. There's some other irons in the fire, so I'm hoping, yeah, that I can't say anything right now about, but
All right,
um,
all right.
I'll let you know when I know. So
I am enamored by you. Thank you. I enjoy you so much. I've met you in person. I've enjoyed you. I met you on video. I enjoy you, and and the books. I can't say enough
oh,
about them. I love them.
thanks,
And
John.
again, just I'm not making money off of selling the books, but I'm going to keep selling them. So
I
you know,
appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
thank you. I will see you again soon. Please tell Dan
Yes.
Dan Madsen. I guess we could say he's a partner of yours in some of the things you
He's my
do.
publicist.
Publicist. I am
Yes.
also going to have him on a future show because he is I guess he really is the you said he was the founder of
Of the Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, he was actually in Star Wars. He was in one of the films, and he actually had created the various fan clubs. The Star Wars. He was the official creator of the Star Wars fan club, Star Trek fan club. Like, yeah, he's done a lot, and I look forward to hanging out with him at Celebration this year. So yeah.
That's awesome. And we'll see him I think in March on this show. I'm going to let you go and then I'm going to I will do some quick housekeeping with these guests
All
and
right.
then I
Thank
will talk to you
you.
soon. I
Okay.
love you.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
so much,
Thanks.
dear.
Okay. Take
Bye-bye now.
care. Bye.
Isn't she wonderful? She really is. I mean, just easy to talk to, and the book. I swear, you will love the format of the book. Just you always make a recipe, but now the recipe means something, and it just means something for not just the celebrity, but the reason they came up with it. I can't wait to make Mark Silverman's meatballs, and then message him and give him some joke about it. Probably first. Hopefully they're good, but I'll tell him the truth. Uh, this, like all things, are done by Dreams Unlimited Travel. So if you go to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, you can get a wonderful travel agent that will be your travel advocate. I'm not calling them travel agents, I'm calling them travel advocates. Uh, there will not be a show next week because I am getting ready to go on the Disney Fantasy next week. And then the week after that, listen, working for the Diz has its privileges. After that, I go to Hawaii to Alani. So I might do a little show from there. Oh, yeah, Mary, the banana bread, or the banana bread. Is that what you're saying? But then I'm going to Alani in Hawaii, which I never thought I'd go. But because of the Diz, they're making some things possible, and they're it's work. This is my work. Well, somebody's got to do it. So I hope you are all having fun. If you need me for anything, send an email or message me. I love you all. I will talk to you soon. Not maybe, I don't know. I love Pete McDevitt. I don't know about the rest of you. I like the rest of you. Thank you, John. I love Mary. I love Linda. I don't know about, let's see, Marla. Yeah, I love her too. So yeah, I never thought listen, going to Hawaii, I never thought I'd go to Hawaii. I couldn't afford it, and I couldn't afford Alani, but the Disney needed some things done over there, and they're like, "John, you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So I'm going to Hawaii. Uh, but that's I'm a little scared because I've never been like so far away from home. We'll see how this works out. But you're gonna follow along on Star Wars. It's on Star Wars on Facebook and everything. And Dan Madsen will be the next guest, I think, in March. I will let you know what the date is. Thank you all for joining. Mwah. Have a wonderful night. Stay warm. I don't know where you are, but today it's going to be 47 degrees here in Florida at night. Yeah, Linda, I know. See the threats I get? If I don't say I love you to someone, see what happens? Hey, Briggs. Briggs, the book really is good, I swear. And it doesn't, there are some hard ones, but most of them are very approachable and easy. Mary, you're always doing payroll. What is up with that? It's always payroll for Mary Wells. I don't know. I sometimes think she's done with payroll and she just still says that. It is a rough, Mary, packing for vacation. It's rough. It's a hard life. Listen, you never know. Hopefully, I don't get tested on they test you before you go onto the cruise ship. So you could be asymptomatic, get tested, and be told to go right back home from the port. Oh, hold on, John. You're at the wilderness cabins. I love them. Did you use the remote control for the and you got the fireplace on? That's nice and cozy. I got to hear back from John before I hang up this show. I love those wilderness cabins. They are so nice. You think John Nary invited me? No, I'm here. No, Linda, no. I have to pack. I have to have everything. Okay, so you want to hear a quick story? Quick story. We're driving to the port to get onto the ship, to get onto the last Disney cruise. We're driving. I got everything. And all of a sudden I go to feel the back of my shorts. I don't have my wallet. I have my passport. We're an hour and a half from the pier. The ship leaves in about 3 hours. So it would be an hour and a half back home and an hour back because I am at the ship. I don't have my wallet. I am freaking out. Briggs requested a quote for DCL, but the fear of being positive scared us away. Briggs, you probably won't be positive, and let me tell you, the ship is so empty now, it's the time to go. There's 20% people on the ship. Anyhow, I panic. Like, I brought everything that I needed except my wallet. I just forgot it in the bowl at home. So I would have to drive there and drive home, and I would probably meet the ship in 10 minutes. I didn't forget my wallet. I look in the console. Somehow I took it out for some reason and left it on the console of the car. I had already turned around and drove about 3 miles back. I was so happy that I was only 3 miles out before I realized I had my wallet. Anyhow, I almost had a heart attack before I got on the ship. But Briggs, if you can cruise now is the time. Everybody's been vaccinated. They tested, they see you're vaccinated and you get tested before you get on, but the ships are just not booked. I mean, they're not booking it on purpose and people aren't going. So, I mean, we had a ship that fits 4,000 people. There was 1,100 people on it, 30 people in the place there clapping for the show. It was like, wow, we never waited. Oh, Briggs. But yeah, you know what though, Briggs, you can test yourself at home before you go. So, pretty much for sure with the quick test. And you'll never have a cruise ship the way you've had it now. The service was impeccable. They couldn't do enough for you. You never waited for an elevator. It was just beautiful. All right, I'm going on and on. I don't want to give you all yeah, Mary, I almost panicked. I have to go to the little boys' room in the worst way, or I would spend more time talking to you. But I don't stop drinking water. I love you. Mwah. Take care of yourselves, guys. Good night. Stay kind.